Hi everyone. In today's video, we will know about AWS code commit. So what are the benefits, why we use, and what are the key features and the advantages and disadvantages, why we need code commit. So let's move to agenda and see one by one. So in this video, we will learn what is AWS code commit, why it's important, and what are the benefits and the key features of code commit and the workflow and the Git versus AWS code commit. So what is the difference and which one is more useful and the advantages and disadvantages. So let's see one by one. What is AWS code commit? The code commit is a version code services and it's a fully managed source control, and it helps to manage and store the assets, and it's highly scalable, secure, and it helps to host the private Git repository, and it supports all standard Git commands, and it's compatible with the existing development workflows. So let's see the definition. AWS Code Commit is a fully managed source control service provided by Amazon Web Services, AWS. It's a version code service, and it helps to manage and store the assets such as codes or documents or any other type of file such as binary file, etc. And it's a secure, highly scalable, managed source control services that hosts the private Git repository, and also it supports all standard Git commands, making it compatible with existing development workflows. So next, move to the next one. Why AWS code commit is important? It's important because of collaboration, tracking progress, and maintaining the code. Code commit is a process that saves change to a project code, and it is important for collaboration, tracking progress, maintaining code, reverting changes. So let's see one by one. Collaboration. Code commit allows team members to work together on the projects, and also it helps to track the progress of the project, and code commit allows user to easily revert to previous versions of a project, and it helps to maintain and improve a project's code. The next is benefits of using the AWS code commit. AWS code commit is fully managed source control services hosted by Amazon Web Services that allows you to store and manage your code in private Git repository. So it helps to store and manage the code in private Git repository. It's a highly scalable, fully manageable, work collaboratively, security and migrations. So one by one, we will see. Highly scalable. It scales up or scale down according to your data and can handle the large repositories and the number of branches with easy. Uh, it helps to scales ups and down according to your data. The next is fully manageable. As a developer, you need to focus more than one development rather than the management or maintaining the hardware or software. The service provides you to focus more one production, and it manages all the needs and make it highly available and durable. So it's a you need to development and maintaining the hardware and software is, and it provides focus on the production and the management. So that's why it's a fully manageable. The next is work collaboratively. It allows multiple users to work upon the single source code at a different sections at the same time with easy. The changes and the updates are later merged and pushed in the repositories. The next is security. It provides a secure environment to store your source code, documents, binary files, and many more. And it uses the encryption techniques to secure your stored data. AWS uses IAM roles to secure your data, which allows you to store your data to a specific people. So here we using the IAM rule to secure your data, and it also allows you to share your data to specific people, and also it store your source code, documents, binary files, and many more. And we are here we using the encryption technique to secure our data. The next is migration. It's a most advantageous feature that allow you to migrate its Git repository to the code commit easily. So this is all the benefits of using the AWS code commit. So the next is key features. AWS code commit provides a range of key features that make it a reliable and efficient source control services for developers. Here are the main feature of AWS code commit. That is fully managed services, Git compatible, unlimited repositories, highly availability and durability, built-in security. So these are all the key features. Let's see one by one. Fully managed services. So Git code commit is fully managed, so you don't need to worry about managing services or scaling. AWS handles the infrastructure updates and maintenance. So it's fully managed. That's why we don't need worry about the managing the servers or scalings and anything. So it handles for infrastructures, any updates and the maintenance, it handles itself. And next is Git compatible. Code commit is based on Git, a popular version control system. This means you can use familiar Git tools and commands and integrate into an existing Git based workflows. So it's a Git compatible means its code commit is based on the Git repository. So it's a popular version control system. You can familiar with Git tools. The next is unlimited repositories. Code commit allows you to create as many repositories as needed. There are no limits on the number of repositories or amount of data you can store in them. The next is high availability and durability. Code commit is built on AWS high availability infrastructure and replicates your data across the multiple availability zones, ensuring durability and reliability. So code commit is a high availabilities and it's replicate your data across the multiple availability zones. The next is built-in security. Built-in security means IAM policies for controlling your user permission, AWS CloudTrail for activities and logging, and Amazon the CloudWatch for monitoring or alters. So it helps to ensure access your repositories. So this is the feature of the code commit. The next is workflow in AWS code commit. So how it works and how it's started. Here it starts with creating the repository in AWS code commit and clone the repository to your local machine. So I will show you in the demo part. First we need to create the repository, then we need to clone the repository to your local machine. So it's the same thing we can do in the Git repository. How can we commit, clone and add in it? So same thing we need to do in the code commit also. First create repository, then clone, then develop locally, making changes and committing them to the local repository. After that we need to push the changes to code commit to share with the team, and then use branches and pull requests for the collaboration. It integrates with the AWS code pipeline for automating the builds and deployments. So this is how it works. The next is Git versus AWS code commit. So in this Git versus AWS code commit, we will see what is the differences and what is the similarity between the Git and the code commit. First we will see the differences. So AWS code commit is more secure. So compared to the Git, code commit is more secure, as AWS uses the IAM role for here in the AWS we are using the IAM role for the securing the technique use. Each allows users to share their repository to the limited person. So we can in the IAM we can share only for the limited persons, and also it provides a highly secure environment. The next is Git interfaces comes out to be more interactive than the AWS code commit. So in the AWS code commit, Git is more interactive and Git is basically connected to the GitHub. So Git connected to GitHub, but in the AWS code commit is managed and hosted by the AWS. So it is more reliable platform. So here in the AWS code commit, we are hosted the AWS, so it's a more reliable platform we can easily use. So these are all the differences. So let's see the similarities. Both uses the Git repositories. AWS code commit and Git both are use the Git repositories, and both supports the code review, which helps to support the code review, and both can integrate with the AWS code build that can import your GitHub and other Google Cloud storage to your specifications and produce the containers. So in the GitHub and AWS code commit, both are Google Cloud storage and can specification and produce the containers. So these are the similarities and differences. So the next is advantages. Advantages are fully managed and scalable, integration with the AWS services, security and compliance, Git compatible, and the cost effective. So let's see one by one. Fully managed and scalable. Here, no infrastructure management. AWS Code Commit is a fully managed services. It doesn't contain any infrastructure management. So you don't have worry about the setting up, managing or scaling the infrastructure. Here we don't need to worry about any setting up, managing or scaling the infrastructure. And also it scales automatically to meet the demands of your project, whether you are managing a small code base or large enterprise. So it's automatically scales, meets the demands. The next is integration with the AWS services. Code Commit integrates effortlessly with other AWS services like AWS Code Pipeline or Code Build or Code Deploy and Lambda. So any functions it can seamlessly integrated. And then also if you are using AWS developer tools, Code Commit fit naturally into a CI/CD pipeline. So it's simplifying the automations. The next is security and compliance. Data is encrypted both at rest and in the transit, ensuring the sensitive information is protected. So it integrated with the AWS identity and management control, who can access the repositories, and its control over the permissions and rules. So it's easily control over the permission and the rules. The next is Git compatible. Since AWS Code Commit is a Git based, developers can use the same Git commands and tools they are already familiar with, and also it reducing the learning curve. And you can use the Code Commit with any Git based clients. It's supporting collaborative workflows such as branching, merging, and the pull request. The next is cost effective. So there are two variants in the cost effective. First is free tier, the second one is pay for what you use. In the free tier, Code Commit offers a free tier with 5 active users up to 50 GB of storage. So making it attractive option for all the small startups. And the pay for it, what you use means behind the free tier. So Code Commit pricing is based on the number of usage and the numbers of storage and numbers of the tier you are using. So two options, we can use either free tier or so other than the other options we can use. So we are using the pay for what you use option. So this is all the advantages of the Code Commit. The next is disadvantages. The disadvantages are limited integration with non-AWS tools, limited features, learning curves. For AWS user interface limitation, AWS restricted. So let's see one by one. Limited integration with the non-AWS tools. So Code Commit integrates seamlessly with AWS developer tools, but it integrates with the third-party CI/CD tools. So mainly it's a third-party integrations. In this we are using the Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or many more. So may not be straightforward feature. So it's Git hosting the server like GitHub or GitLab. So that's why we are using the limited integration with non-AWS tool. The next is limited features. While Code Commit supports pull requests, the code review features are more basic compared to the services like GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket, which offer advanced collaboration tools, inline comments, or more code review workflows. And also its automated issues tracking, integration with project management tools, and detailed code insights are less robust than our other platforms. So that's the limited features. And learning curves for AWS user. AWS Code Commit uses the Git. It's setting up and configure with the AWS ecosystem only. So it can be complex for users who are unfamiliar with AWS services. So who doesn't know about any AWS services, it's a complex. So managing the permission and integrating with other AWS tools like IAM, Code Pipeline, etc., it may require the additional learning and expertise. The next is user interface limitations. Code Commit web interface is functional, but it considers the less feature. So user friendly compared to other Git platforms. So compared to the other Git platforms, UI say user friendly like GitHub or GitLab. So for example, GitHub UI offers a more polished experience with advanced features like code suggestion, issue tracking, and better visualization. And the AWS restricted. So in the Code Commit, AWS restricted some features. So for example, it's does not support for the root user. So in the root user, we're not able to creating this code commit because it doesn't support all the features. In case we are creating, it doesn't support some security purposes. So that's why we are using the IAM user. So that's why we are saying as the AWS is restricted. So that's why we are saying as the AWS restricted. So this is all about the theory part. So then move to the AWS console and see how to create the cloud commit and how it works.